We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spread Zone. We're breaking down all the first-round matchups, Stanley Cup odds, and we're debating the best bets for the 2025 NHL Playoffs. My name is Riz. To my left is Anthony Stalter. To his left is Tim McKernan. Let's recap, by the way. The last time we were with you, it was before the Masters. And Tim, quick recap on how we did as far as our picks go.
Boy, I loved Justin Thomas, who was never within shouting distance of the lead. But you two gentlemen, you both were on Rory McIlroy, and you delivered the audience a winner.
That's right, we did. So whoever listened to your pal Riz and your pal Anthony, and then good on you.
With Jackson on the college basketball, the show is starting to deliver winners. You just have to know who to listen to.
Right.
And the one person you know not to listen to is right here.
Tim McKernan.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
Until now.
This is where I shine bright like a diamond.
You thought it was going to be golf.
No,
it's
not.
No.
It's NHL playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. Stanley Cup playoff time. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. So we're recording this on Friday. Tomorrow is when everything begins. So who are our favorites? Who are our Stanley Cup favorites going into the playoffs to win the Stanley Cup? The Carolina Hurricanes are your favorite to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup, which I would have thought it would have been the best team regular season were the Jets, right? Winnipeg Jets, or maybe talking Washington Capitals, but the Carolina Hurricanes are the Vegas favorites to win.
And in the Western Conference, the Stars, despite finishing the season, Riz, in a tailspin. They've lost 7 in a row going into the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are considered to be the favorite in the West. So you have the Caps over there in the East and the Jets over in the West, and then the Leafs also. And I wonder if it's because, in particular with the Leafs and the Jets, if the history of those franchises struggling in the postseason plays a role in it, because if you're just looking at it straight from a hockey perspective, it's surprising to me that they are not listed up there with the Hurricanes and the Stars.
Looking at the odds, Anthony, do you see value in any of the favorites, or is there a long shot that you would be willing to gamble on? I mean, the greatest odds to win, you got the Canadiens, you got the Wild, and you got the St. Louis Blues. You also got the Devils and Senators there in the mix as far as the bottom end goes. Do you see any long shot you'd be willing to gamble on?
Well, I think there's Riz, I think there's value all over the board, quite frankly. Even Vegas at plus 900, I think is a huge value. But if you want to look at the deep long shot, it's the Blues at plus 4,500. Let's break this down. One, they've got Stanley Cup pedigree going back to 2019. Jordan Binnington can steal a series for you. They were red hot at one point when they won the 12 games in a row. And if that Blues team shows up, who knows? Parayko is back. You've got, I would assume, Dylan Holloway, hopefully, at some point, maybe not in this series, but if they get deeper, maybe Holloway comes back. They've got the young scoring at plus 4,500. They're also facing a Winnipeg team that,
Anthony,
outstanding in the regular season, Riz, but Connor Hellebuck does not have a good reputation in the postseason.
Now, much like our very own Tim McKernan picked Mizzou to win the NCAA basketball championship.
Again, wonderful track record on this podcast.
Is this an Anthony Stalter homer pick special?
It is not.
That was the responsible question to ask.
We're recording in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, this is my honest feeling on this. Because unlike Tim, who went to Mizzou, I have never played for the Blues.
But I didn't graduate from Missouri, so I think that's
disclosed. That was not disclosed to the people that are
I said he
listening to us.
He went to Missouri.
You're correct.
And are putting money on things that we said to put money on.
Yeah.
8 credit hours.
Now,
if I would have gotten those final 8 credit hours, I wouldn't have picked Missouri, and I wouldn't have picked Justin Thomas to win the Masters. And I'd be better on this podcast with my record.
For the record, I have never, not once, suited up for the Blues.
That is now on the record.
Good. On the record.
I would tell you this. and I think this would probably be one that would really fly under the radar, but Minnesota got healthy right before the end of the regular season. I think of all of the teams in the West, I think they probably are flying under the radar the most.
Second lowest odds to win.
Yeah, I think that if you're looking at it, they also have a team that I think a lot of people, Anthony decided it, they're going up against Vegas in the first round by scoring a goal with 22 seconds left in their final regular season game. That sent them to Vegas and the Blues to Winnipeg. I think Minnesota, if they can get by Vegas, they're going to go through the Pacific as opposed to having to play the Stars or Avalanche in the second round. Minnesota would be the one that I would consider a value because they got healthy at the right time. Unfortunately, from the perspective of the Blues, I'm concerned about the Holloway thing. And also, I think that even though Winnipeg has the track record of having problems in the postseason, they did get to the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago, but historically, snake bit in April. I think the combination of Holloway and his injury and Winnipeg's strength is going to provide a tough test for the Blues, and will be unhappy that they didn't get the chance to play Vegas in the first round. So if you're looking for a value play from me, Riz, I'm going Minnesota.
Okay, well, let's start looking at these matchups, these first-round matchups. We'll start in the East, and we'll start with the Leafs and Senators. Now, the Leafs are the division champs. The Senators swept the season series, though, 3-0, and the Leafs have only advanced once since 2004.
It's unbelievable.
To the second round.
Unbelievable.
I'll start with you, Tim. Is Toronto's playoff curse real, or are they finally... Is this the year they break through?
The thing about playing in Toronto is the pressure that comes with it. And so I do think there's a parallel to the Winnipeg situation, actually. Game one of their series is perhaps more important than any of the other series, because if they fall behind 1-0 to the Senators, they're in the spot where they're going, oh my goodness, if we lose the second game, it's going to be all for naught. I think this is a different operation, and I think Craig Berube and the Leafs take care of business against Brady Tkachuk and the Senators.
Do the Senators have a shot?
Yes, sir. I got the Senators in the upset.
Wow!
I got Senators in Game 7.
You're going to get about 1.5 or more on your money on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Toronto, Tim just highlighted it. The pressures that come with playing in Toronto. Can you trust their goaltending tandem for a full series? I don't know about that. And this Ottawa team's feisty. You got Brady Tkachuk, you've got Sanderson, you've got Stützle. I mean, this is a feisty Ottawa team that is familiar with Toronto. I got them in the upset.
Prediction, go. Leafs and how many?
The Leafs in 6.
Senators in 7.
Wow, they go into Toronto and win a Game 7.
Yes,
oh,
sir.
My goodness.
And they burn the building down. No, don't do that.
Leafs in a sweep.
Wow, all right.
We are all over the board.
Let's go on to the next matchup. It's the Battle of Florida. It's the Panthers, slight favorite over the Lightning. Tampa does have home ice. Anthony, do you think the series is likely to go 6 or 7 games?
I think it's going to go 6. At least 6. If you're looking for a prediction right now, I mean these are two teams with championship caliber rosters. But the return of Matthew Tkachuk, the goaltending matchup is fantastic. But I think Florida's deeper. I think they're nastier. I think they're more balanced.
To go 6 games, if you put money down on how long the series, it's -190.
Oh, is that right?
To go at least 6.
That's the expectation.
To go 7 is +200.
The Panthers and Lightning have faced each other so many times. It's a hell of a rivalry. I mean, you have the Battle of Canada on the top half of that bracket, and then the winner of the Battle of Canada gets the winner of the Battle of Florida. I'll be intrigued to see how Tkachuk plays, Anthony, not having been playing since the Four Nations. I'm going to go with the Lightning in this one, and I'll go with the Lightning in 6, Riz.
Okay, Lightning in 6.
Panthers in 6.
Lightning in 7.
Riz and I are on the same page so far.
So far.
I fear that for you, Riz.
I trust the Lightning more in the long series. Now we move on to the Hurricanes and Devils. The Hurricanes are the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Canes are heavy favorites. The Devils are missing Jack Hughes. The season series is split 2-2. Tim, any upset potential here, or is Carolina a lock?
I don't see it as such. I see it as no upset potential, Riz, and I think Carolina wins this one comfortably, and I'm going to go sweep. actually. I think the Devils are in a spot where they're in the mode of getting into the feel with this group of Stanley Cup playoff activity, not healthy. Hurricanes run through them. Even though you got to lay a lot to win it, they're close to minus 300 to win the series. I think the Hurricanes win this thing with ease.
I am with Tim, but I have a gentleman's sweep of 5.
I like the gentleman's sweep.
It's going to be Hurricanes in 5. These two teams built similar speed, skill, possession-heavy teams.
You think Jersey wins at home once?
I think they win at home once, but that's it. Carolina's defense otherwise suffocates this Devils team.
I'm with you, Anthony. I'll go with the Canes and the gentleman's sweep.
All right. So a rare unanimous vote for the series here so far.
All right, moving on to the Capitals and Canadiens. Does it matter who the Caps play, or are they a safe bet to advance, Anthony?
Safe bet. Special teams is going to matter the most here. Washington's power play is ranked in the top 5. Montreal's penalty kill, bottom 5. I think the Capitals win. I think they win comfortably. I got a gentleman's sweep in this one.
Another gentleman's sweep in the Eastern Conference. This is where I'm going to make my upset play. I'm going L'Habitant to win this thing in 6 against the Caps. They have been playing kind of in a playoff mode to get in, and I think they will be rewarded for that. They will not be tired from it. They have been a playoff mindset, whereas the Caps have known they're going to be in for a very long time. I will go with the Canadiens to get this one. Riz in 6.
Capitals sweep. Wow!
Well,
4-5 upset.
Yeah.
4-5 island.
Island.
It's a lonely island.
All right, so that is the East. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and we will talk Western Conference matchups. It's the Spread Zone. Back with the Spread Zone, talking the 2025 NHL playoffs. We talked about the East. Let's talk about the West. Western Conference matchups. We'll talk Avalanche and Stars.
The glamorous series,
is this
many around the league.
I mean, some people are saying they're looking for the Battle of Florida as their like marquee series in the first round. Other people are saying Avalanche and Stars. That's the marquee matchup. The Stars have home ice, regular season tied as far as the season series goes. Series expected to go deep here. Is this the real conference final? Right here?
I think whoever wins
it's a coin flip.
May wind up being your West champion. Whoever wins this series might be your West champion. And allow me to talk out of both sides of my mouth. Whoever loses this may also be banged up to the point of exhaustion, and they get taken out in the second round. But I do think that whoever wins this one is going to represent the West in the Stanley Cup final.
The fact that the Stars are going into the Stanley Cup playoffs on a 7-game losing streak is of note. But statistically, it isn't necessarily an indicator of what is to come. They have known they're going to be in the playoffs, and once Winnipeg pulled away, they were really kind of in a spot where they weren't playing for much outside of home ice in this series. This is a really talented team. The Mikko Rantanen angle with the trades certainly makes another point about this one as one to keep track of. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. I think you have a rivalry brewing between these two franchises. This one goes 7. I'm going to take the Stars in 7.
Anthony.
Stars in 7.
Wow.
Yep, I got the Stars in 7. This is the most evenly matched series in round 1, and I think the blue line wins for Dallas. I got goal prevention.
This is a coin flip. I mean, honestly, for me, it's a coin flip. Trying to look for an advantage for either team, it's hard. I'm going to go Avalanche in 6.
Is that because we're on Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were on the Stars, and then you heard that, and you know the track record over here.
Yes.
That's the right move. I got to tell you. I respect that move. I think that's the right move.
In 6.
Yeah, it's like a Bronx Tale and that mush guy. That's what I've got going on now.
All right, Jets and Blues. Jets had the best regular season record, the President's Trophy winners, but they have not escaped round 1 recently. I know what Anthony's doing here. The Jets have won the season series 3-1. Tim, your thoughts? Jets, Blues.
Listen, as you acknowledge, the program is done from St. Louis, but I am on the Jets. And I think that their talent combined with...
That's good news for the Blues, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Just like Missouri getting crowned national champions right before the loss to Drake was great news for them. The Jets' talent. This is what I was making an observation on, Anthony, that I think if the Stars or the Avs or the Golden Knights or the Oilers, the defending Western Conference champions, had the numbers of the 2024-2025 Winnipeg Jets, they would be getting a lot more appreciation and be considered chalk. But because they're the Jets, we kind of fall into the college football trap of we think about the brand and not necessarily who they are.
Yeah,
this is a hell of a team. They've only allowed 191 goals, which is by far the lowest.
Well, you have the best goalie in the league.
Yeah, Hellebuck, but Hellebuck's been a problem in the postseason. Unfortunately, the Blues also, during that winning streak, lost Dylan Holloway, and I don't feel like it's the same team. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to see Holloway in this series. I am on the Jets, and I am on the Jets in 6.
Anthony Stalter.
Blues in 7. I think that when you play the way that Winnipeg does, and look, they've got 2 unbelievable scorers, but if you're in a lot of close games, this is where Binnington shines. And I think the Blues have enough scoring depth that they take this series. And the Jets' misery continues.
I'm really trying to take being out of St. Louis into my decision. But my heart is telling me the Blues in 7.
I respect that. It's business, never personal.
Team Rory.
Team Rory. That's right. Yeah, I mean, what win do I have? I'm winless.
No. You've got wins in the spread zone.
There's a bit of magic with this Blues team. I don't know if it's because I'm here and I don't know.
Let me just ask this real quick.
Go ahead.
If I pick the Blues, do you pick the Jets?
Yes.
Wow.
Golden Knights Wild.
No explanation.
Golden Knights Wild. Vegas narrowly wins the division. They have very short odds to win the West. The Wild are underdogs, but they got playoff experience. Anthony, we'll start with you. Is Vegas poised to make a deep run, or do the Wild have some of that magic?
Vegas is poised to make a deep run. Minnesota, 0 magic.
0 magic.
0. I know that Kaprizov can change a series. I don't think they have much outside of him. I'm not a big Minnesota fan at all. I think the Knights grind out this series. I think it's kind of low scoring. And I think that blue line for Vegas is just going to dominate.
It's so good. I mean, I talked about Winnipeg and their defense. Vegas is right there with them. I think the winner of this series goes to the Western Conference Finals. I think the thing to keep an eye on, and I wonder what Vegas's thoughts were. Would they rather have faced the Blues or Minnesota, because Minnesota got healthy, but the Blues were the hot team in the second half of the season? I think Vegas will win this thing, but man, the fact that you're getting the kind of odds you are on Minnesota makes them intriguing to me, both in the series matchup, but then also, as we said at the outset, talking about a Stanley Cup winner. So I think whoever wins this series wins the next round against the Kings and Oilers. I will take Vegas to win this thing, and I will take Vegas in 7.
Now, just so you guys know, full disclosure, our parent company, Hubbard, has a minority stake ownership in the Minnesota Wild. So
that's a nice disclosure. I feel like that's been running across a crawl the whole time.
I'm picking the Wild to win this, not for that reason.
But because Tim picked
the Knights.
You're just going straight fade.
I'm saying,
I think it's the right thing to do.
I'm saying Wild in 6. Minnesota Wild in 6.
You'll be paid handsomely for that. That'll pay nicely.
Final Western Conference matchup. We have the Oilers. We have the Kings. Oilers are favorites. Kings won the season series 3-1. Edmonton has eliminated the LA Kings 3 straight years.
It's unbelievable.
Three straight years in the playoffs.
Yeah, 4th straight year these two teams are meeting up. Edmonton kind of trying to get themselves right heading toward the end of the season. I don't think that they are. I think Oil fans are angry as hornets about where things are and that they may miss out on an opportunity to capitalize on the McDavid era. And so I think that this Kings team, which also plays a a hell of a brand of defensive hockey, in addition to just dominating in their home building. I think the Kings finally get vengeance, Anthony, and they eliminate the Oil, and I think they do so in 6.
I like the Kings too. Oilers penalty kill is elite if it holds up. You got Draisaitl, you've got McDavid, but I think the Kings crack the code this time around. I think their defense shows up, shells out, and the Oilers. There's just something about this Oilers team. They've been kind of walking a tightrope this year.
Yep.
I'm taking the Oilers. 4th year in a row eliminating the Kings. The Kings do not get their revenge. McDavid carries the Oilers in 6.
Oof. Another straight fade from the one and only.
All right, listen. They're the matchups, East and West. We'll take a break. We'll come back with our locks and maybe some fun props. It's the Spread Zone. All right, welcome back to the Spread Zone. All right, we discussed the East Coast matchups. We discussed the West Coast matchups. Series likely to go 6+ games. Panthers, Lightning, Avs, Stars expected to be close. If you were to put money down on a series going 6 games, you know, to lock it in, what are we doing?
I feel like I'd go Avs Stars. That would be kind of the chalky one, and the one that would be a surprise one would be the Wild and Vegas Golden Knights.
Chalk is Dallas, Colorado for sure. I think that the Jets and Blues go at least 6.
Yeah.
And what series do we see a sweep?
Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
If we had to pick one, it's Carolina.
If it's one, even though some of us have called for a gentleman's sweep.
Gentleman's sweep has been called for.
Some of us have called for a gentleman's sweep.
That's just a hell of a team there, and I don't think that they're slowing down. I don't think the Devils would be the ones to do it anyway.
All right, based on the odds, which underdog pulls it off?
I love your pick of the Wild getting 2-1 on your money. I mean, from that standpoint, that's a nice hit. And then the Canadiens, that's kind of a sneaker play.
That's your long shot.
That's my long shot. Yeah. So Canadiens are getting some nice value on your dollars too in this series. So Riz, you going with the Wild gets you 2-1, and the Canadiens are getting 2-1 as well.
Anthony, I need a long shot.
Blues to win that series, and Stars to win that series, because I'm looking at the Stars right now. They're getting plus 125.
Yeah, they're plus.
So those would be my 2 in the first round.
Okay, and I need some locks. I need a series lock.
Looking for those locks.
Looking for the lock.
Series lock would be the Hurricanes, and I feel so good about it.
I think that's safe.
I know it's absurd to pay $300 to win $100, but I just don't see how the Devils can hang with that team. That thing is a buzzsaw and on a mission. So I would go Hurricanes.
I also like Vegas. Vegas is a lock.
Vegas lock.
Yeah.
Vegas
over
lock.
Minnesota. Yep.
Even more than the Canes.
Not
Devils?
more. No, but if I'm going with another lock, the not obvious one,
okay,
I'd go Vegas.
I'm going obvious. I'm going safe. Obvious.
Yeah. You know, look,
Canes, Devils. Canes.
Lay it up, and putt to win.
Okay.
But
well, anything else, gentlemen, in regards to round 1?
I can't wait to see a few of these series in the Western Conference. I think this year the Western Conference is so clearly superior 1 through 8. It would really surprise me if you saw about 5 of the teams in the Eastern Conference get to the Stanley Cup final. That's more top-heavy. It lacks the depth of the Western Conference. I mean, we're talking about a 116-point Winnipeg team that's dominated teams, smothered them defensively, that is listed as the 8th most likely team to win the Stanley Cup regarding the Cup odds. And they are going to be, expected to be anyway, fighting a deep series against the Blues, the 8th seed. So that speaks to the depth of the Western Conference, plus those 2 middle division series in Dallas and Colorado and LA and Edmonton. I think a lot of people would say either one of those could get to the Cup final. So the Western Conference first rounds and the health of the teams coming out of those series that I think are going to be hard hitting, that is what I will be monitoring from a hockey fan / gambler standpoint in the first round.
Well, I think we need to place our bets for Stanley Cup champions.
I think that's the right thing to do.
Okay, Anthony, I need a team.
To win it all.
To win it all.
I know
You want to give me your finals?
I could do that. I know I said earlier about the the Stars and the Avalanche, one of the winner of the Western Conference, but I'm actually going to change my mind on that. I like the Golden Knights coming out of the West, and I like the Florida Panthers coming out of the East.
Coming out of the East.
And your ultimate champion is?
Vegas.
Coming out of the East, I feel like it's only one of three teams, honestly. But I think Carolina comes out of the East, and I will be in a very small minority, even though it's a weird position to be in. I think the Winnipeg Jets come out of the Western Conference. And so you will have, probably not necessarily from a rating standpoint, what Gary Bettman is fantasizing about with Winnipeg going up against Raleigh, but that is what I think you're going to see in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Now, remember I said the Colorado Avalanche will beat the Stars? I see them coming out of the West, and I see them facing the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Ding.
And I see Colorado as your ultimate Stanley Cup champion.
So, Riz, one of us will be eliminated after the first round in the East.
Yep. Well, let's reconvene in about a week and a half.
Let's do it.
See where things stand.
We'll see where things stand. All right, we made our picks. Go forth with the information, folks, and place your bets. It's the Spread Zone.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.